is pronounced deceased at this point. I won't go into information about identity information that will be released by the Santa Clara County Coroner's Office at this point. This is still an active and ongoing investigation. The Sheriff's Office activated our Santa Clara County active shooter protocol, where we activated multiple law enforcement agencies and fire department agencies in the surrounding county to assist with this incident. This is still a fluid and ongoing incident, and we're trying to figure out everything, what transpired and what exactly happened to this point. But again, this is still ongoing, and we're still trying to gather the information of what exactly happened at this point. Right now, with numbers, I can confirm with you at this point that there are 8 expired and what exactly happened to this point. But again, this is still ongoing, and we're still trying to gather the information of what exactly happened at this point. Right now, with numbers, I can confirm with you at this point that there are 8 victims that are pronounced deceased at this point, and there's 1 suspect that's pronounced deceased. This is still ongoing, like I said. The numbers can change, okay? So this is still a fluid and active, ongoing investigation. We have all the resources out here from city, county, and federal agencies out here, including the FBI and the DA and Homeland Security out here to assist with this investigation. So again, we have a lot of resources out here. Ourselves, we're trying to figure out what exactly happened, what's going on. We received information that there are explosive devices that are located inside the building. That being said, we activated our bomb squad, which is currently out on scene and trying to determine, pretty much we're trying to clear out every room and every crevice of that building to ensure that the public safety is rest assured if we open up that building later on in the near future. So that being said, getting the information out to all of you is going to be a little bit fluid and dynamic. It's going to take some time for us just to go in there and render the area safe so we can have investigators go in on scene to determine, collect evidence, and then gather all the information that we can at this point. We do have a reunification center located next to me. It's going to be over at 70 West Heading, over in the city of San Jose. It's going to be over at the Isaac Newton Auditorium. If you have any family member that you're trying to reach out or gather any type of information, we ask you to call our Santa Clara County Communications line, which is 408-299-2311. Again, 408-299-2311. This is still active, ongoing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to route this over to our Sheriff Lori Smith, who will speak very briefly on this incident, and then we're going to move on to the next person from there.
Sergeant, about the 8, does that include the gunman or not?
I'm sorry, say that again?
8 people, does that include the gunman?
So the 8 victims is 8 victims, including, and there's a 1 suspect as well, so that's 9 altogether.
So it's 9.
So there's 9. 8 victims, there's 8 casualties from victims, and then 1 suspect casualty at this point as well.
What is the building that they're explosive in?
Is there a second scene?
So the building that they're at is 101 West Younger Avenue, is a Valley Transportation Authority hub center. It's a control center, and that's where they're at this point.
Fire. No, the fire. There's a fire scene.
The fire, we're still ongoing, and we're trying to figure out exactly, if there's connection or any information at that point, so we're still trying to gather that information.
There was ammunition found inside this?
At a meeting?
I don't know. I'm trying to get that information at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to route this over to Sheriff Lori Smith. She's going to speak very briefly. Okay.
First of all, this is an active investigation, and there are many, many components that we're continuing to discover. We mentioned the Victim Unification Center. It's in the building right next to you. Please, please have respect for the victims' families right now. There's still a lot to be done. We appreciate San Jose PD was with us immediately going into the building, and our teams showed exemplary behavior, what they're trained to do while the shots are still being fired. Our teams with San Jose PD are entering the building while shots are still going off. We attempted rescues, and it's uncertain where that is right now. We don't want to take a lot of questions. We'll give you all the information that we can give you as it comes known, but we really don't want to speculate right now. So we appreciate your coverage of this, and my heart goes out to the family and to the victims. I'm just so sorry. It's a tragic situation, and we have some very brave officers and deputies. Thank you.
Sheriff, if there are explosive devices in that building, is there concern for the public at large?
No, it's pretty remote. We have the area cordoned off. Our law enforcement is there, and we know which building.
How many explosive devices do you think there may be?
Right now, we're not certain. We're still searching, and again, there's a lot of other components to this.
You found at least one, which leads you to believe there are more.
So we have explosive devices information that is on the building, so we're going to use all the necessary resources to ensure. The biggest thing is we want to ensure public safety. So that's our number one priority right now. So right now we're trying to render everything safe if there are any type of suspicious devices, and then we'll go along with our investigation right there.
And our bomb dogs alerted on it, and we're able to locate. So, but again, we're giving all the information we can right now, and we will continue to provide updates as it goes along. So thank you for your patience, and we'll get to you as soon as we have
Sheriff,
information.
can you tell us anything about the fire at the house?
I think that San Jose PD is working on that, and we'll see if we can get San Jose to make some comments on that.
Do we know how the shooter was stopped?
I'm not sure of that information right now, and that's information we're not releasing at this point.
Do you tell me how the shooter was stopped? Did he take his own life, or did one of your deputies?
It's undetermined at this point.
Did any deputies
get inside?
Again, I don't want to take any more questions. I have one real quick one from here.
So really quick, I will confirm you that it is a VTA employee. The suspect is a VTA employee. That's all the information I give you. It's still developing. We're still trying to ongoing the investigation. We're trying to figure out what happened.
So that explains how he was able to get in, because he was already an employee.
Potentially in that case. And also to confirm with you, it is a light rail yard that's for this VTA building as well. And in regards with the bomb information, the suspicious devices, we're using all the resources that we can, from using our robots, x-ray devices and whatnot, and with conjunction with federal agencies, we have resources out there to figure out what's going on.
But you believe he brought in the devices?
I don't know. We're still, again, this is all preliminary. We're trying to get that information. So next I'm going to introduce you to Glenn Hendricks. He is the Valley Transportation Authority president for the board.
Hello. As we've all seen, there's a horrible event that has happened, a terrible tragedy, significant loss of life, which is just horrible for our VTA family. Our thoughts and love goes out to the VTA family, to the employees who were at the yard, and everyone else who is a VTA employee and their family members. I do have a number to give out. This is for VTA employee and family members only. 408-321-7550. Again, this is for VTA employees and VTA family members to be able to call 408-321-7550. I just want to say how proud I am of our VTA family, the stress that they're going through, the friends and family that they know. This has just been a terrible event for them. I also want to say that our light rail service will be stopping at noon today. We'll be putting in place a bus bridge to continue to provide service to our county residents. As has been mentioned, the reunification center is inside. I've been in there talking with different employees. It's just very difficult for everyone to be able to try and wrap their heads around and understand what has happened. And I just want to say again, I'm so sorry for what's occurred, but I'm very proud of our VTA employees. Thank you.
How many of your employees are hospitalized?
I don't have any of that information right now.
Can you say how long the suspect has been working with VTA?
I don't have any of that information right now.
What was there an event of any kind going on? A gathering?
A meeting?
So next we're going to introduce President Mike Wasserman. He's for the County Board of Supervisors.
Thank you all for being here. I'm here on behalf of the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors. Along with me is Supervisor Cindy Chavez. I'm just so in shock that something like this happened in Santa Clara County. And my heart and prayers go out to all the family and friends of the 8 members, 8 VTA employees that passed away this morning. I've ordered the flags to be lowered to half-mast in order to honor the people that have passed today. And I hope each and every person that is listening to this broadcast includes these 8 people in their prayers tonight. Thank you very much, Supervisor Chavez.
So first I wanted
You've
to
been
say
listening to various different authorities in Santa Clara County, California. That's San Jose, Northern California, the San Francisco Bay Area generally. What we learned there is that they're now saying 9 people have died, 8 of them victims, 1 the shooter himself. They're also saying that they're searching actively right now for explosive devices because they apparently have encountered at least 1. Let's go straight to our justice correspondent, Pete Williams. Pete, what do we know about where this happened and this search for explosive devices?
Well, I'd say the search for explosive devices certainly suggests that this was well planned in advance, or long planned in advance, I guess I should say, not something that spontaneously happened this morning, because they're looking not only at that scene, but they're also looking at another facility nearby where there was apparently a fire this morning. And so the question is, was that fire set before the shooting? Authorities have told us, told our producers Andy Blankstein and John Dienst of WNBC in New York, that the person who carried out the shooting today is a VTA employee, and you just heard the county sheriff's office confirm that he's an employee named Samuel Cassidy, and a fairly long-time employee of this facility who worked right there where the shooting happened. Exactly what the connection here is between the fire, the placing of explosives, what was going on this morning at the facility where the shooting happened. There'd been some reports that there was a union meeting, and if the shooting happened inside, that may explain why there are so many shooting victims, both the number of 8 people that were killed and others who were wounded, if they were all indoors in a confined space. But we're waiting to learn more about that, and we also don't know what weapon the gunman used this morning, whether it was a long gun or a handgun. We just haven't heard anything about that. And we don't know much more about the person who authorities have told us carried out this shooting, Kate.
All right, Pete Williams, thank you. Let's go to MSNBC reporter Lindsay Reiser. She's actually on scene in San Jose. And Lindsay, we heard authorities talking about a reunification center, a place where families can go. It has to be a really disturbing scene there.
Yeah, Kate, it was emotional. We saw dozens of VTA employees walking across the street into that reunification center. I'm going to give you a lay of the land of where we are. The Valley Transportation Authority facility where this shooting took place is behind us, and right next to it is the actual Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office headquarters. I'm going to step out of the way. We're going to give you a better image here of the command center that you can see in this area. Of course, multiple authorities still on the scene, the entire area here blocked off. It's really a horseshoe area. And we also recently just saw light rail buses, those light rail trains coming back into the facility because that service here locally is going to be suspended at noon local time. And so talking about the employees who no one can imagine what they've been through today, and hopefully we never have to, but they walked across very solemnly in a long line, dozens of them, 2 by 2, into this county administration building where there is a reunification center, an auditorium where family members are supposed to go to if they are inquiring about their loved ones. And of course, as a human being, you want to give them privacy. As a journalist, you want to ask them how they're doing, and so we did that. And many of them were just so visibly distraught, so understandably shaken after what happened today. And some of them did tell us they were told not to speak to the media. Sometimes people do want to talk about what they've been through, and if they do, we of course will listen, but they understandably were very shaken up, Kate.
And Lindsay, just to help us paint a picture a little bit for those who don't live in Northern California or the Bay Area, that service that you're standing in front of is a commuter rail, right? But this area is, it sounds to me like it's more of a place where they store the trains and hold the trains in a rail yard, more of an employee situation.
Yeah, it's a huge facility, Kate. This is really the transportation hub. San Jose, of course, a very busy, growing, bustling tech hub of San Francisco. We're about an hour away from San Francisco, and we're very close to downtown San Jose. And just as you mentioned, this is really a hub for light rail trains, for shuttles, for buses where they're stored overnight. There's not only the facility here, the maintenance yard, there's also a control center. So definitely a large place of work where certainly many employees report to work every day.
And Lindsay, just to clarify one last thing, are you clear on where they are looking for potential explosive devices? Is that a building on the property behind you?
So it looks like they are really searching every single crack and crevice that they can. Of course, you're speaking to reports of explosive devices in the facility. Now, we have not seen any investigators combing the area where we are. Again, we are at the county administrative building, but it is a large complex. We've got a courthouse down the street as well, a large municipal complex, if you will. Okay. So we believe that investigators are combing the area across the street, that VTA facility, but we'll continue gathering information, Kate, and we'll bring you any updates as we get them.
All right. Yes, please do. Thanks so much. Let me bring in national security analyst Clint Watts. He's with us as well. And you have a lot of law enforcement experience. So on this question of what they are doing now, what you heard from authorities about looking for explosive devices, what's your best guess of what's happening out there?
Yeah, it really explains a lot about the speed at which they've been going and the number of personnel that we've seen throughout the morning, which is they have to comb every single inch of all of these facilities and make sure that there are no other devices out there, and that is extremely time consuming. They're also always going to be trying to minimize any risks to life. So you saw during the press conference there, they mentioned use of robots, use of scanning equipment. They will bring in some of their higher tech equipment to try and do detection, and that will take quite some time to do it. With that, I'm sure they are now working very aggressively to go to the location, home, and all associates and family and friends that might be of the shooter to see if there are any other potential targets. We've been very focused on this location. I'm positive they're at the shooter's home, trying to figure out how these devices were made. And I think this goes to Pete's point earlier, which is premeditation. This is obviously something that seems to have been planned for quite some time. It seems possibly picked at a time and location where there would be a mass gathering and be a significant event. And it really ties into what appears to be a workplace incident. And I think it's just remarkable, the number of casualties, but the potential dangers there. And I think the police seem to be doing everything they can to take every step and precaution to keep everyone safe.
Yeah. And we're still not clear on how many people have been injured. We've been told multiple injuries. Thank you. Let me turn to NBC senior national security analyst Juan Zarate is with us as well. Juan, when you hear all of this, do you expect the feds, the federal law enforcement agencies will be involved or are probably already?
Absolutely. And you heard that from the local authorities saying that the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security, likely HSI agents, are on the scene. I think it's not only the presence of the explosives and the potential danger that Clint just described, but also the sophistication that Pete described. This indicates a much more sophisticated, premeditated attack, and also concerns as to whether or not there may be others involved, other motivations behind this. And that's going to attract the attention of the FBI in particular. Keep in mind that the Department of Homeland Security on May 14th put out a new terrorism bulletin reminding of heightened threats and concerns with respect to domestic violent extremism, international terrorism. And so federal authorities will have that in the back of their mind as they're looking at the scene, trying to determine the motivation of this individual and trying to determine if this incident reflects something beyond just what happened in Santa Clara County.
Yeah. It does sound like while the shooter is deceased, and we've learned that for sure, that's been confirmed, this potentially could be something larger than just one person.
That's right. And they're obviously going to be looking very carefully at the individual, his background, social media, talking to family and friends, looking at various sites he may have visited or touched. But this type of attack, which is not just a workplace violence attack, but has the potential of being more sophisticated, will draw the attention of investigators to look far beyond this individual and just this particular event.
All right, Juan, thank you. We will, of course, continue to follow this developing story as we have been all morning. We'll have much more tonight on Nightly News. We'll bring you any updates as needed. I'm Kate Snow. For all of us at NBC News, thank you for watching.
I have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now, there's Skyrizi. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clearer skin at 4 months after just 2 doses.
Skyrizi may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your
Well, as Chris was mentioning, they're not sure if there's explosive devices inside his home. So there's an FBI bomb tech out here as well as the San Jose bomb squad and 2 bomb techs. Within the past 20 minutes, they suited up and they went into the house. It's the 3rd house on the left. It's the one with the garage door that's open, and it's got the bushes there and the black car in front. So that house actually caught fire around 6:30 this morning. Law enforcement is investigating whether this started before the shooting, the idea being, did the suspects start the fire and then go to the VTA maintenance yard? I did speak with the San Jose fire captain. He says this fire is definitely suspicious. They found a gas can inside, as well as they smelled gasoline, and they also found several hundred rounds of ammunition. He said hundreds of rounds of ammunition spread throughout the house. The interior, he said, is destroyed, even though from the outside the house still looks intact. But again, that fire starting around 6:30 this morning, and yes, we have confirmed that this house, the deed has Samuel Cassidy's name on it, so that this is the suspect's home. We did try to speak with neighbors this morning. No one would talk. One did speak to my colleague Damian Trujillo off camera, and all they could tell us is that they were shocked. So we didn't have any information about anyone who knew the man who lived here in this home. So again, 2 bomb techs have gone into this house here where there was a suspicious fire this morning to clear the house of any possible explosive devices. Not confirmed that they're inside, but given the fact that they're concerned about explosive devices at the VTA maintenance facility, they have the same concerns here. Reporting live here in South San Jose, Bob Riddell, NBC Bay Area News. Is that Janelle? Who's the anchor? Is that Janelle? I wasn't